Guys, power rankings news, and then we're going to go through some of the college championship games. So let's start there. I took Northern Illinois to win. They lost. I took Louisville to win. They won. Next, Central Florida. I take them to win in their matchup. I take Oklahoma to upset Oklahoma State. I take Baylor to beat Texas. I take Auburn to beat Missouri. I take Arizona State to upset Stanford. Florida State to beat Duke. Michigan State to upset Ohio, and Fresno to win. I think with how that goes, Arizona will obviously be in the Rose Bowl. I think Ohio State gets upset by Michigan State just because their defense is very well. They have a very balanced offense, and if that's the best thing to attack is if you can slow down Urban Meyer's team, then you can definitely keep in touch because their defense isn't that great. Auburn, I think, will be able to run all over Missouri. I think Missouri has a great defense, but I think Auburn's rushing game showed last week against Alabama that it doesn't matter what defense you have, that it is their season. Baylor, too much offense for Texas defense, and their defense will be able to stop the Texas offense. Oklahoma, I mean, this was just, I know Oklahoma State has a better team altogether, but I think that Oklahoma, the Sooners, I have a feeling, it's just a gut feeling on this game, and Central Florida is playing SMU. I like Central Florida and Fresno. I mean, at this point, the division they play in, I mean, unless they're going against the Spartans again, they're too much offense for another team, even though their defense is really bad. And then let's go to the power rankings. Number one, Seattle, until they lose again. If the Niners beat them, I mean, they're going to be number one. Even if they lose, I still think they'll be number one. They will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Carolina, defense. Their offense is pretty good. I just don't trust Cam Newton that much. I'll have to see how he plays throughout. Three, New England, because they beat Denver. I think their offense is getting in. I think defensively they're not that great, but Bill Belichick can match up for teams. Next, I like Denver. Their offense, obviously high flying, high scoring. Their defense not so good. I think that they will lose sooner or later, or once they reach the playoffs or when they're done. New Orleans, I think they gain the number 2 seed. I mean, this is all for later, but for right now, I still like New Orleans as number 5, even though they got blown out. And then number 6, Kansas City. They've shown that they can contest in high flying, high scoring games of late, which isn't good because they really need that defense to perform. 7, San Francisco, just because that defense, kind of like Carolina. I like their defense. And both are really similar. Their front sevens are amazing. Their back ends are horrible, except for Captain Mutterland for Carolina. But I don't like anybody in San Francisco's back end. Same thing though with quarterback. I would take Cam Newton though over Colin Kaepernick any day. I think Colin Kaepernick is a horrible quarterback. Next, Cincinnati. Andy Dalton is the factor with San Francisco. Is I think San Francisco can run the ball with power. I think their defensive front is better than Cincinnati, so that's the only reason. And I mean, quarterback wise, I would take Andy Dalton, but I just Colin Kaepernick can run the ball and they can run the ball well. Number 9, Detroit. I think the back end of their defense is a liability. Matthew Stafford throws a lot of interceptions. Reggie Bush has been putting the ball on the ground of late. So I don't trust them, but they can score with anybody. And then 10, Indy. I have a hard time taking them out because they finally did have a good game against Tennessee. Even though they've fallen behind and Arizona's taking them out. I almost put Arizona there, but because of the Eagles beating them, the Eagles, I want to see this next game against Detroit to really see if they're a top 10 team. And then news: Tomlin fined $100,000 for his sideline behavior. The Steelers might be taking a draft pick depending on what goes on through the draft order, through the playoffs. Gary Kubiak was fired. Aaron Rodgers, Darren McFadden, Jay Cutler, Brandon Weeden, Percy Harvin all out. Jason Campbell will be in. He will be the starter for the Browns. Same with Case Keenum. John Fox will be back on the sidelines coaching the Broncos, and Nelson Mandela, at the age of 95, died this week. All right, guys, tomorrow's football, so let's enjoy today. Let's watch some of these championship games. Let's see what future draft picks there are. It's a great week for football. We got some good games. Like, subscribe, tell friends, spread the word. Talking football daily, all day, every day. Love you guys.